All right, well, today we're going to be going over setting up GitHub Advanced Security, going through the configurations for both code scanning and secret scanning. First place you're going to need to be is at the org level. Here you see a demo organization that we have here over at GitHub. You'll need to be an org admin as well. You'll know you're an org admin if you see this settings tab over here. Once you see it, go ahead and click on it. It'll take you over to the settings page, and if you scroll down, under security, you'll see advanced security. Under that, you'll see two drop-downs. One is configurations, the other is global settings. We're going to start in configurations, actually. So in configurations, you'll see the configurations that you've already created. You'll see some recommended configurations up here, and then if you've created any, you'll see those down there. Dropping down even further, you'll see repositories. This is really where you can go filter repositories and then apply configurations en masse. But let's start with creating a new configuration. We can give it any name. We'll say test. So first and foremost, we'll make sure that to include the GitHub Advanced Security features in this first area. Next thing to point out, we have these settings over here. You'll see enabled, you'll see disabled, you'll see not set. Just a bit of background before we get going. Under the policy section at the bottom of this file, you see enforced configurations. By default, this is enforced. All that means is that anything that's not explicitly set, either enabled or disabled, right? That's explicitly set. If it is either enabled or disabled, the repo admins on the repos where you apply this configuration cannot change that setting. If you want to give them flexibility to change the setting, then set any of these features as not set. All right, it'll inherit a default setting, but it will give your repo admins the flexibility to change that as they see fit. Let's go back up. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the secret scanning configurations. So secret scanning, this is GitHub's feature that scans across all branches in commit history. And we're primarily scanning for, by default, 3 different types of secrets. The first is provider patterns, so being a GitHub, and by extension Microsoft. We have partners including AWS, Stripe, Google. They give us the regular expressions that they use in their secrets. We scan for them, and we serve you those results. Additionally, when we serve you those results, you will see a verify secret button in those alert cards. That gives you a second way of validating that secret is in fact one of their secrets and whether it's active or not. The second type of secret that we scan for are called non-provider patterns. These are fairly high confidence patterns. Think bearer tokens, RSA keys, connection strings that aren't specifically tied to a partner, but we can be fairly certain that they are not variable names in your code. So we'll serve those alerts up to you as well. Make sure that those are both enabled. The third type of secret that we scan for are generic passwords. So we use AI to do this. These are sort of lower confidence because we're scanning for common password types, and then we're getting contextual information from around the password to say, okay, is this a db_pass equals some type of string? We'll guess that that's a password. We're going to serve that result up to you, and I'm going to make sure that that is enabled. So those 3 types of scanning are going on, and that's for the secrets that you may have leaked up to this point. But we want to make sure that we stop leaking secrets. That's where push protection comes in. So push protection is a pre-receive hook on the server side that checks at the push level for a subset of those provider patterns. So like the highest confidence secrets, we're going to be checking for with push protection. If we find any, we block it and we give a warning inside of the terminal. Hey, this was blocked due to a policy violation from GitHub. here's the secret, here's the file that it's in. So it gives some developers some background. If they want to, by default, all developers are able to bypass this. It takes them to another screen where they request a bypass, adds a bit of friction. You can also set specific actors to only have bypass privilege. Prevent direct alert dismissals. This just makes sure that people can't directly dismiss alerts and has to go through a bit of an approval chain. We're going to go ahead and leave that as not set. So that's secret scanning. Now for code scanning, so code scanning with CodeQL, this is our first party scanning tool. And so what is going on when CodeQL is scanning is that sort of depending on the language, it will be building a database from your code, and then it will be running groups of queries against that database. So by default, well, actually, there's 3 query packs that you have available to you. The first one is called default, and it is the highest severity, highest confidence, mostly criticals. Some highs, I think some mediums in there as well. The next query pack that's sort of out of the box that you can configure is called the security extended query pack, and so this is everything from default plus you'll get some lows, some mediums, and even some highs in there, some high severity as well. You're also able to configure a third type through advanced configuration called security and quality. This extends it even further out from security into checking more code quality and serving those alerts up to you as warnings. If you would like to set a specific runner type, you can go make those as labeled runners and set them here, but by default, it defaults to the standard runners. And prevent direct alert dismissals, same thing as secret scanning, just adding a bit of friction to the dismissal of alerts. And so dependency scan, that is code scanning in a nutshell. There will be more to say about that when we go into the global settings, but from the configuration side of things, that's all there is. Next is dependency scanning. So this is really that sort of dependency graph is enabled by default, and this is what Dependabot, if you've seen him around, depends on. This is where those SBOMs are created. This is enabled by default. This is really not part of advanced security and really comes with GitHub Enterprise, but it's worth kind of going through these configurations as well. Sort of automatic dependency submission. At this point, this is transitive dependencies at build time, really only has to do with Maven projects. If you have Maven projects, you might want to enable it. We can keep it not set for now. Dependabot alerts, these are enabled by default, and if you've worked with GitHub, you've likely seen Dependabot alerts around. Security updates, these are those automatic pull requests created to resolve the Dependabot alerts. If you have public repositories, private vulnerability reporting is there to make sure that the open source community can privately report security vulnerabilities to you. If you don't have any public repositories, don't worry about that. Last couple things. We've already talked about the enforcement of the configurations, and we're going to leave this as enforced. Last one is using this as a default for newly created repositories. If you want this to be all new repositories to inherit these configurations, you can select the type of repositories that will, between public, private, or all, or none. We'll switch to none. We'll keep it at none. That is everything in the configuration file, so let's save it. Having saved that configuration, let's now go get one of the repositories that I manage in this demo organization. What we can do is we're still in this configurations. Coming in here, we see our Chet demo configuration down here. So what we can do is we can filter all these repositories and only select this one. Next we can come down, select Chet Demo, and apply it. And as you see down here, it says applying Chet Demo. While that's running, let's go over to the global settings and take a peek at that. So, global advanced security settings, this is slowly going away into configurations, but some stuff is still in here worth talking about. So at the top here, Dependabot specific stuff. If you want to configure Dependabot rules, when it scans, what it scans, what kind of alerts it serves up to you, this is really where you'd go to do that. If you notice that Dependabot alerts are a bit noisy or there's a lot of them, group security updates are fairly good to check just to make sure that it's opening one pull request when it's able to, rather than 12. Coming down a little bit here, we're able to see code scanning. There's a few things to go over. So like I said, there's a few type of query packs that we scan for. By default, this is unchecked. I would check it at least for the POC just to cast a fairly wide net. This really recommends at the repo level the extended query suite for repos. The next thing to note is Copilot autofix. This is very important, and it's on by default. This is really leveraging Copilot in order to sort of back up our philosophy of this found is fixed. When we detect a vulnerability, we at least want to make an attempt at remediation, and so that is for those CodeQL alerts. For non-CodeQL alerts, we have Copilot autofix for third-party tools. And so that is, as of now, I believe only ESLint. If you do not use ESLint, it's okay to keep that checked. If you know CodeQL, you can create your own query packs, and you just come in here to configure and run those as well. Here you see some push protection, resource link addition option. All this is saying we give a default link when we stop a push in push protection. GitHub will serve you a sort of a default document. If you want to have your own policy about how to handle those, you just have to apply that and add that in here. So like I said, secret scanning will scan for 3 types of secrets by default, but sort of a fourth that you can add are custom patterns. If you have industry secrets that you want to add in here, you get 500 per organization, I believe 100 per repository. You would come in and you would add a new pattern, you would do a dry run of that pattern, and you can even use Copilot and AI to help go from sort of describing what you're looking for as far as secrets go, and it will help build a regular expression from that. As you can see, we have a few in here as well. Coming down will just be about licensing, and then continuing down more, you'll see that Dependabot needs you to grant it access to private repositories if you want Dependabot to scan private repositories. And then security managers are going somewhere else, so don't worry about that.